Hello and welcome to the Album Man, and today I'm going to be doing a review of the Wall 2011 Remaster Experience Edition. So, this was released on the 27th of February 2012, and just like my Dark Side of the Moon Experience Edition review, which was quite a long time ago, it's my second review ever, and about December the 4th or something. So yeah, it's going to be the same format as that. I'm not going to be reviewing The Wall as an album. I'm just going to be reviewing the remaster. So, let's just, for those of you who might not know, I'll go through the track listing of The Wall for you. In the Flesh, The Thin Ice, Another Brick in the Wall Part 1, The Happiest Days of Our Lives, Another Brick in the Wall Part 2, Mother, Goodbye Blue Sky, Empty Spaces, Young Lost, One of My Turns, Don't Leave Me Now, Another Brick in the Wall Part 3, Goodbye Cruel World, and that's the first disc. Then disc 2, Hey You, Is There Anybody Out There, Nobody Home, Vera, Bring the Boys Back Home, Comfortably Numb, The Show Must Go On, In the Flesh, One Like Hell, Waiting for the Worms, Stop, The Trial, and Outside the Wall. So I only went through that pretty quickly because I'm sure most of you know the track listing to The Wall. So, there are 3 discs in this edition, and we'll go through, we'll talk about the album remaster first, but actually just before that, let's just talk about the packaging. Packaging's always a good thing. So, if you look at it, the cover, it has red letters, which is different to the original version, which had black letters, and then if you take it out its sleeve, there's some artwork here from Gerald Scarfe, and it includes credits of who wrote the album, and production team and all of that stuff. And it has things like Mother, the teacher, the judge. And then if you look on the other side, you have a really great Gerald Scarfe picture, all of these little pictures of Gerald Scarfe, of the judge, if you can make that out there, in the trial. Really nice picture, you can see the hammers marching as well, and the plane flying overhead from something like Goodbye Blue Sky. And then when you open it up, you've got really nice artwork here of the teacher and the mother. Really nice artwork. And of course it opens up again, and then you can see the hammers across, the classic hammers representing sort of Nazism and, various stuff like that. Really quite nice. And then if we look at the booklet, you can see here so not the first page here. It's the traditional handwritten lyrics, which is a good thing, and the cover even has the black writing, which is nice. So original handwritten lyrics. One disappointment is it does recycle the same artwork that's on the box in the middle, and that's the only artwork you get in the booklet, which is a bit of a shame. And I'm sorry it seems to go dark every time I show you one of these things. It just seems to be the whiteness really does not go well with my camera. Right, and then I'd say the most disappointing thing about the packaging in this box has to be the discs themselves. Right, let me just get out discs 1 and 2. Right, so this is the album itself. Just hold this carefully. Look, all they have is big E's. Great, let me hold this back. Big E's, that's it. They could have put some hammers on it. Big hammers going across it. They could have put just some Gerald Scarfe artwork from The Wall. There's a lot of artwork, and instead they just chose E's for Experience. Now, I know that I bought the Experience Edition. It even says on the back here, Experience Edition. I'm perfectly aware that I got the Experience Edition. I don't need it reminding, on the discs. It's really disappointing that, but, it's all oh, God. Okay, that's alright, but, yeah, really, it's all about the sound quality. And I have to say, I was comparing this to pretty much just the last remaster of the album, the sort of traditional double jewel case, black writing on it version of The Wall. And so it's remastered just like all the others by James Guthrie, who is known for doing really great remastering jobs, and he certainly does deliver this time as usual. And I would say there is definitely a difference between the last version of The Wall and this version. And I'd say the noticeable differences really are that the vocals have been flattened slightly to give them a more natural sound. And I personally think it works really well and adds a bit of clarity to them. But, you know, it's really good. It hasn't affected it negatively, making them a bit flatter. It just makes them sound more natural, which actually does. It does create a nice effect. And also the bass seems to be turned up or more defined in this version. You know, this, yeah, it is the best sounding version of the studio version of The Wall ever. But personally, I would also have liked to have seen them remaster this. And this, if you don't know, is the Is There Anybody Out There Pink Floyd The Wall Live. And I think this is the definitive edition of The Wall, really. I think it's better live than the studio. I mean, the studio is obviously phenomenal. It's my favourite album of all time, we're joint favourite. But I just think the live version just has something which the studio can never capture. And it would have been nice for them to have done a remaster of this outside the immersion edition, because of course it is in the immersion. But outside of that, it would have been nice. So it's a bit of a shame that that wasn't, but you know, what can you do? So the main appeal of this, to be honest, is disc 3, the Works in Progress disc. So I'll let you tell you the track listing for this. Well, actually, I'll just tell you a few of the tracks because I go on forever. There's a lot of tracks here. Let's see, Another Brick in the Wall Part 1, Teacher Teacher, Another Brick in the Wall Part 2, Young Lust, Sexual Revolution, Goodbye Cruel World, In the Flesh, Mother, One of My Tens, The Doctor, One Like Hell. So The Doctor, if you don't know, is Comfortably Numb. I take Teacher Teacher to be maybe an earlier version of Happiest Days of Our Lives, but it's very different to it, very, very different, but that's what I take it to be. And Sexual Revolution was cut from the album altogether, and I think it appeared on the Roger Waters solo record, The Pros and Cons of Hitchhiking. So, this is split into 3 programs, the Works in Progress. Program 1, 2 and 3. And these are basically meant to demonstrate the jump in the album's evolution. So 1 is the earliest stuff, and that's what, you know, some of the names are a bit vaguer. And Program 3 is the, you know, stuff just before they started recording the album itself. And I'm not going to do a track-by-track review of all these demos because it's already run out. I mean, it's, you know, this video is already about 8 minutes so far, and it really would take me forever. It ends up being like an hour-long video. And so that would be a bit ridiculous. But I have to say that these are so fascinating. I wish I could afford the immersion edition to get the other demos, because this is just a little bit, it's only 1 disc I think, or just a selection of demos from the immersion one. And there's still a good 27 demos. Some of them are repeated, like you get a couple versions of Another Brick in the Wall Part 1 and 2, and things like that. But in general, it shows a lot of the songs off, and, you know, it's really, really, really interesting. I mean, sometimes I find that you hear demos on albums and they just sound like sort of rough mixes of the songs and aren't that different or particularly interesting. But these demos, these are fascinating. A lot of them are very, very different. For example, Another Brick in the Wall Part 1 on Program 1, that's very different. Lyrically, it's almost just a completely different song. It doesn't have any of the main themes that Another Brick in the Wall Part 1 has. It doesn't have that whole war theme and, you know, the daddy flown across the country and all that type of stuff. It's extremely different, except for the, you know, him saying all in all it's all just bricks in the wall, you know, that type of thing. And also musically it's pretty different as well. And another one that I found really interesting was Teacher Teacher, which, as I've said, I think it could be a very early version of Happiest Days of Our Lives, but does not really sound like it, to be honest. But yeah, I just adore these demos, and they really do offer extra bits about the concept and story behind The Wall, as well as offering an insight of how it developed musically. So I would say, overall, at Disc 3, it's an essential listen for any big Wall fan, as the evolution of this album is fascinating. So, in conclusion, I would say you shouldn't buy the Discovery Edition if you already own this album. The remaster, yes, it makes it the best version ever, but it's not a big enough step up to warrant a repurchase about tenner. Maybe when it's gone down to a 5 or something on Amazon. Yeah, and if you don't own the album and want to check it out, then yeah, the Discovery Edition's a really good place to start and is the best place. But if you're a big War fan like me, then you really should check out the Experience Edition, which I think is worth it just for the demos. And if you're a casual War fan, you know, you won't enjoy the demos, and don't buy it, to be honest. Only if you really love the wall and appreciate it for what it is, then you should. Or of course, if you can afford it, you can get the Immersion Edition. And the Immersion Edition is good for if you've ever dreamed of having a nice bag of wall-related marbles and a glitched disc too from Is There Anybody Out There? Then the Immersion Edition is right up your alley. But personally, yeah, I think the Experience is the way to go. The Immersion's about 70 quid and is a load of rubbish really for that. It's not worth it at all. Yeah, but tell me in the comments below what you think of the Experience and Immersion remasters of Dark Side of the Moon, The Wall, and Wish You Were Here. Wish You Were Here is the only one I haven't got my hands on the Experience edition yet, but hoping to soon. So, this has been the Album Man. Thanks for watching. Comment, rate, subscribe, and long live rock and roll.